let's actually make a small spreadsheet, right? Expenses. We started with expenses, so let's do that. Let's make a new spreadsheet. I'm making a new spreadsheet. I'm calling it. Let me change the name of this to something else and name of this to expenses. So I'm naming the spreadsheet as expenses. This is a new spreadsheet. And now I'm going to make a spreadsheet for my expenses of the week, right? And I'm going to use dates with that, and I'm going to use some dummy data. So for example, I want the weeks to appear in the rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I have gone to row number 3, and I have selected columns, cells B3, C3, D3, E3, 7 cells like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I am going to merge all of these, and I am going to type in week 1 of this month, right? And I'm going to apply all borders on this. You can do this with me. And similarly, on the left hand side, I am going to select the cells A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, these 5 cells. I am going to merge them, and I'm going to type in categories, and you will see that the word categories will automatically be vertically and center aligned in both the directions. If it doesn't happen with you, because this merge button also makes the text aligned vertically or and horizontally in the center. Okay, right. So now I also assign all borders to this one as well, so it's easier to differentiate. But there is something that needs to be done. If I ask you to, for example, take this week 1 of this month's merged cell and drag it to C2, B3 से इसको मैंने उठा के C2 पे शिफ्ट किया है. अब ये आसान नहीं होगा आप लोगों के लिए, क्योंकि you will have to use good practice with the mouse, and you will have to select this cell somehow like this, and then you will have to click and drag this cell at C2, starting at C2. There is a reason behind why I shifted this. Or if you find it difficult, you can select this. You can press Control X or go to Edit menu and cut this cell and go to cell C2. So I'm going to show you the other method as well. So I select and simply select this one cell. I go to Edit menu, cut this cell, and then I go to C2, and then I go to edit menu and paste this cell. So this cell is now moved to C2. And the reason why I did this was that I wanted to add the dates of the week on in these cells, and I wanted to add the categories of expenses in these. Acha, in the categories I'm going to type in, let's suppose I type in groceries, and then let's suppose transportation, and then let's see house maintenance. And so whenever I type something, I may need to increase the width of the cells, or maybe I am going to increase the row heights to a bit more, so that I can apply wrapping of the text, so that multiple lines can still be accommodated in the same cell. And then I'm going to type in, let's suppose, rent, maybe some kind of rent. And then I could type in, let's suppose, hobbies, let's say hobbies. Okay, so and similarly here you can type in and I'm going to again I'm doing this in little increments, but you can always go select multiple cells and apply borders to all of them, so that you don't need to do that every once in a while. So I'm just going to add borders to all the cells that I would like them to be added to. And similarly in row number 3, I'm going to type in the date of these weeks. So let me go to this month of January, and the first week started on 1st January, and oh yeah. I want this date to appear in a special format. So if I go to format menu and I go to the number format, I can see over here that there is a date format which is specific for, showing dates in a cell. There are other formats which one of those I'm going to use today, and format can be used for it. So the second option is if I go to this these there are format buttons here as well. These are famous formats which are commonly used, like currency, percentage, number format, date format. So I'm going to select all the cells in which I want to show the dates, and I'm going to select this format as date. You didn't see anything happening, but you can see this button is now highlighted as blue. So now I am going to type in, and by the way, the default format for dates is something like this: 1/1. What would 1/1 mean? The first one would be the month, and the second one would be the date. So when I press enter, it shows me 01/01/21 automatically. I didn't need to type in everything. Similarly, if I press 1/2, what does this mean? What month am I referring to? 2 or 1? 1 is the month, which is January, and 2 is the date. So if I press enter, so if you type in 01/2, it accepts it, and if you type 1/2, it accepts it as a number. So again, so if I go to the next one, if I type 01/3, it is 3rd January. And okay, so another amazing magical thing I'm going to show you at this point. So if I want the rest of the cells to be filled automatically, it is possible to do that very easy. I select at least two cells that reflect the change in values of these cells. It is very obvious that these two cells have a change of 1 day from each other. I select both the cells using mouse click and drag. I hope everyone is comfortable doing that now. And you go to this tiny little box that I was mentioning earlier, this tiny little box, this black, tiny black dot, you can say, not box, this tiny black dot you can see over here, square dot, and you click and drag this, and you will release it to as you know far you want to go. So I'm going to I have selected at this point, and I'm going to release it when I reach this last thing. I'm releasing this. All the cells are now automatically filled with 3rd January, 4th January, 5th January, 6th, and 7th January. Now I want you guys to put in random numbers, any random numbers. I am using something which I'm not going to explain, but I because I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed or confused or anything like that. It is just something you can take note of as something you don't need to know, but still you're getting to know because it may come in handy at some point in life. So I don't really like to type in too much, so I use tricks. So I'm going to type in. So again, as I said earlier, I am not going to explain what this is. I'm just going to type in what I'm typing. So let's suppose on a daily basis I spend something between 1 and 2000. Let's suppose between 1 and 2000. Okay. So on any of these heads, I spend, just for example, spend something between 1 and 2000. So if I do this and I do this, so all of these random numbers are now. So I typed in this thing, whatever this is, and then I selected the tiny black dot on the bottom right corner, and I click dragged it towards the right side. Then I selected all the row, and again I selected this tiny black dot, and I click dragged it towards the bottom. So it filled all the cells with random numbers. Okay, because obviously we're not making a, a real, you know, spreadsheet. We just needed random numbers. So I did something. I'm showing you again we call it a formula. You will be using these, but not exactly this one, but you will be using the formula. So this is the formula for that. And just for a fun part, let's change the colors of the, for example, I'm going to change, you can change to any colors you like. I'm changing the the main heading color to like this kind of strange blue, and I'm going to change the, so you will be seeing that the random numbers are changing whenever I change any value in the cells. Anything I do, it changes the color. So I'm going to change the color of the subheadings to something like this. Another amazing thing I'm going to show you: select all these, select, right click them and go to format cells, and you will see different date formats in front of date, right? The first one was by default selected. We selected all the cells that we were interested in changing the format of. So I interested all the dates like 01/01/21, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And I right clicked all of them, and I selected format cells. And then I immediately saw this thing. So if I select a slightly different format, for example, so there are so many date formats you can select from this list, but I'm going to select this, a fifth one. And as soon as I press OK, so you can see that all the dates have now changed to Jan 1 21, Jan 2 21, Jan 3 21, right? So I don't need to, be bothered by every time going and typing in. For example, someone says, okay, no, I don't need the date in 01/01/21, please change it to Jan space 1 comma 21. So I didn't need to type in all of that. I just went to an option, I selected all the cells, I went to format cells, and I could change the date format to any format I liked at that point in time. Okay, so this is one amazing thing about this software. Okay, so far so good. Congratulations, we have made a spreadsheet which looks really good, and it shows you. One thing is missing from this spreadsheet, and that is that we didn't give a title heading to all of this spreadsheet. So all of this spreadsheet should have a title heading. So I'm going to make that over here. I'm going to select the top row, all the cells in the top row that span throughout the this spreadsheet, and I'm going to type in my personal expenses. So I'm going to again change the color of this to, let's say, some other color, and also I'm going to change the color of this so that it looks slightly better. And maybe, okay, so maybe change the font size of the title and make it bold so that it looks even better, so it's easier to, see for a person that this is a title of this spreadsheet and not something in the part of that. The second format I would like you to try out is the currency thing. So go to this selection menu, and if you simply press this currency button, you can see over here what's the currency button looks like. It's a currency note with some coins on top of it. So if I press this button, it simply appends a dollar sign at the front of each thing, and with a dot 00 as well, because normally the dollars are also in available in cents. Okay, so on the right hand side, I am going to change the subheading to subtotal. So I'm going to type in the next cell. So now what do I want? I'm interested in adding the values which are in these cells. I'm interested in adding the value in C4, C4, D4, E4, F4, G4, H4, and I4. I'm interested in adding all the values and show the sum in this cell, in this one. And in order to do this, I need to make reference to these cells. So I need to know the names of this cell. So the name of this cell you can see C4. The name of this cell you can see D4, or you can read from this top name box. You can read the name box as well. So this says E4, F4, G4. So I am going to type something which will make very much sense to you. I'm going to type C4 plus I have started with the equal sign because I'm telling this cell J4 that I'm not typing data. I am trying to do something with data in other cells. So then I type D4 plus E4 plus F4 plus G4 plus H4 plus I4. And as soon as I press enter, you can see that it shows the sum of all of these numbers like 800, 1000, 300, 77, 200, 400 something, 1800 something. The sum is 4962. This is the actual sum of all of these numbers. Now, as we did before, so let me show you the formula again. This is the formula. It color codes everything so that it's easier to see that the C4 is the blue cell. This is the blue cell, and E4 is the pink cell. So E4 is the pink cell, and I4 is the purple cell. So this is the purple cell. So there is color coding available to you. It's it makes it very easy to see or look at the. Okay, so now I want in this cell, I want the sum of all of these cells, right? So I would need to type equal sign. We want the same formula, but we want all the numbers of row. For example, C, instead of C4 in the next cell, I want C5. Instead of D4 in the next cell, I want D5. Instead of E4, I want E5, F5, G5, H5, I5 for all of this row, because the name of this row is 5. So instead of typing this again, I can use this tiny black dot and I can click it and drag it to the next cell. And now you can see that 9000 it will be the actual sum of all of these numbers. Okay, so if I want to see what is written behind this, the value, the formula, I can double click this, or I can press the F2 key. There is an F2 key on your keyboard, on top of your keyboard. After F1, there is F2 key, which is used to see the contents of a cell, which may be different from what is being shown in the cell. So what is being shown in the cell? The value 9000 something. What is the actual content of the cell? This is a formula which is saying C5 plus D5 up to plus I5. What if you had like 1000 cells that you wanted to add? It wouldn't be really efficient to write 1000 names of 1000 cells and use the plus sign to do that. So there is a very interesting thing available for us in order to do that, and that is we start with the equal sign. And by the way, let's first see the name of the cells we want to. So this, the name of this cell that I want to add is C6, then D6, then E6, then F6, G6, H6, I6, right? So I want to add all the cells from C6 up to I6. All I need to know is the name of the starting cell and the name of the ending cell. I start with the equal sign. I type in sum. I start a bracket, and then I type C6. Then I use the keyboard to type in the colon sign. This is a colon sign. This is different from semicolon. So everyone, please look at your keyboard and see what is the difference between a semicolon and a colon. If I press that button, I see semicolon. But if I use the shift key and I press the same button, it shows me colon. In a semicolon, the bottom dot is a comma. In the colon, both the dots are dots, none of those are commas. Then I type in I6 and I type the closing bracket and I press enter. And the magic happened, and I didn't need to type all the name of the cells from C6 to I6. You can see it is showing a blue border across all the cells from C6 to I6, right? It is showing a border from all the cells from C6 to I6. If I want to copy this formula to the remaining two cells, I can use the black dot and I can click drag it down. And now in the last, you can see that the formula has changed from C6 I6 to C8 I8, which is really handy because now it is adding the all the hobbies expenses for every day from C8 up to I8. Okay, so now I want you to increase the row size of the last one slightly, and type in on the left hand, I'm typing here grand total, and I'm going to, on the right hand side, I'm going to add all of these cells because I want the grand total, and maybe I type in equal sign so that it looks better. So here I'm going to type equal sign sum, and I'm going to type in the name of this cell, which is J4, then a colon, and then I want to add all the column cells from J4 to J8, J4, J5, J6, J7, J8. So I'm going to type in J8, and I'm going to close the bracket, and I'm going to press enter, and as soon as I do that, I can see that the grand total is 32,080, which is truly the sum of all of these numbers. So I'm going to change again the colors of these things slightly. So for example, I change the color of this to let's suppose something that looks like this maybe, and I'm going to change the color of subtotals to maybe let's say something like this maybe. So now my spreadsheet looks perfect, and I can simply press the save button and I am done. Border कहाँ से print करने हैं? The first thing that you select the cells you want to put border across, and then you go to this button. The easiest way is going to this button where you can see a square with a division inside, and you go to this uh, all borders option. Although you can apply borders on the right side, on the left hand side, or bottom, or up, top down. You have so many options. So I normally choose all borders because it's easier to look at all the. So I'm going to apply all borders on grand total as well. So now maybe, and maybe you would like this heading to extend to this one. So let me try, and then I'll tell you what I did. Oh, yes. So if I mean, this is again something that you sometimes do, and you later on find out that I didn't do this correct, so I need to do something different. So for example, if I wanted the title heading to extend to this column as well, so what would I do? I would, select these merge cells along with this J1 cell, this one, and I'm going to go to the merge button. I'm going to unmerge all of these, and then I'm going to again press this button, merge button, and now it is extended to, all the title heading. It now extends to the subtotal column as well. So now I'm going to change these colors slightly. Just you will see that definitely they would look better with this scheme. I'm going to add this color over here. I want you to play around with this and see what you like with this. So I'm going to add a border at the bottom side of this, and add a border to the top side of this only, and a border to the right hand side of both of these. So it would, actually, instead of doing all of this, I could select all this spreadsheet, and I could select the outside border, this button. This is the outside border button. So it would, apply border towards all the outside of this. Okay, so we are done with the spreadsheet. It looks really good, and I can go to the file menu, and I can use the print preview option, print preview, and it will show me my spreadsheet in printed format. So if I want to have it printed properly, I can change the page layout, right? So I can click this format page, and I can go to the page tab, and I can go to the landscape option, and still it doesn't fully fit in the spreadsheet. So if I use the scaling factor and press the minus button, so it can scale down my spreadsheet. So using the minus button, now this thing, and if I want the header and the footer to appear, like the name of the spreadsheet is in the header and name of the page is at the bottom, I can have them there or remove them there, but they are advanced options. So how do you get out of this view? You go to the file menu again, and you again press the print preview button, and you're out of there. And let me show you the formula for grand total. This is the formula for grand total. Sum J4 colon J8. Equal sign, must remember the equal sign. Equal sign sum opening bracket J4 colon J8 closing bracket.